There is power in personal stories. It connects us, it empowers us, and it holds us accountable. It creates understanding and expands our perspective. This is Big in the Community with Jonathan James at the Kalamazoo Promise, a podcast aimed to highlight local leaders, collaborators, and innovators in the greater Kalamazoo community. All right, welcome back to Big in the Community. I believe this is episode 18. Finally got that right for one of the episodes. But anyway, I'm going to kick us off with a quote. Balance, peace, and joy are the fruit of a successful life. It starts with recognizing your talents and finding ways to serve others by using them. And that's Thomas Kincaid. So for this episode, we have good friend, somebody who is big in the community, Mr. Raymond Fields.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ray. Why don't you,
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, like what you do, what's your current role, and how long you've been in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, absolutely. So little fact here, only my family calls me Raymond.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good, bro.
Ray.
But we like family, so it's okay. It's okay.
Go.
Ray Fields, man, here in the community. I work at Kalamazoo Youth for Christ. Been there for about 2 years now. My role there, I'm a City Life Center associate. So basically, what we have on the east side of Kalamazoo here over on East Main is our after school program. Basically, it's the City Life Center where the kids come hang out and we do our programming. And so my role is actually go hang out with the kids in schools, kind of talk to them about the resources available that Youth for Christ provides. I get to meet teachers and other faculty members as well, try to get them to help, see if they want to come help out with the kids or if anybody wants to come teach or do something like that. I run one of the class nights there where we get to teach kids about different curriculum, whatever it is that we can teach them, show them how to live life. And then let's see, what don't I do, John? Do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I also run our student leaders program called the Titans, and those are our indigenous leaders that we're raising up to go back into the community and give back. So, really enjoy that. Yep. Little fact is Thomas Kincaid. He actually is known as the painter of light. His paintings are super dope. You should check them out. So
I will.
So if you get one of his paintings and put them up in your house at different angles, they look different because of the refraction of the light.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, he just dropping facts in here. I was not ready for that. I thought you were just saying that.
No, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
man.
right. So I'm gonna have to take notes during this whole podcast because he's dropping some knowledge on us. So how would you say you engage with the Kalamazoo community?
Well, just about every day, man. I'm interacting with some students, some youth in some form, whether I'm messaging them on IG or I'm actually at the center helping tutor, helping encourage, giving a message, giving a word. I'm in the school systems. And I also I work part-time at Youth for Christ. I work part-time at Bronson as well in healthcare. So I see all kind of people from the community all the time. Mm-hmm.
See, I was gonna say you out here.
I'm out here, man. Yeah.
Because I mean, just because I know you personally, like I've seen the work that you've done, like in church and just on your own, and then in the different spaces that you're in. Like you're always willing to serve people to help them. So thank you for the work that you do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, my way of giving back. I desire to live a meaningful life and give back. And that's what led me to where I'm at now, and probably what led me into healthcare in the beginning. So, yep.
Okay. So how would you say you collaborate with, like, say, the Promise or other organizations in the community?
So Youth for Christ actually, if anybody listening is interested, can go on to KalamazooYFC.org and check out, and we have our mission statement up there. But basically Kalamazoo Youth for Christ, or Youth for Christ as a mission field, they seek to minister to kids from 11 to 19 years old. And we do that by partnering with other like-minded individuals and community partners such as the Kalamazoo Promise. And so actually, me and you have talked before. We had some meetings about having you come in and help some of our students, because we serve that population of kids who are a little bit underprivileged and are in those in that high school age, are getting ready to graduate. A lot of them don't know about the benefits of the Promise, about they don't have anybody in their family that has gone on to get secondary education. They don't know how to. So that's where we brought you in before and seeing how we could collab on that. We also have many, many other partners within the community to help just try to give these kids the best chance of success that they can have. And man, Kalamazoo is an awesome place. I gotta say, it's just such a eclectic mix of people who really desire to see the community thrive and do well, and really care for the next generation well. So it's easy to partner with people. I mean, you know, a lot of times when you think of a faith-based organization, you think that they're only partnering with like local churches. But I mean, there's tons of people that aren't necessarily faith-based, but they want to see kids do well. So we love, hey, if you're for the kids, we're with it. You know what I mean? Let's see how we can work together to help.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's so many places that are in Kalamazoo. It's just everybody has a different approach.
Yeah.
We have the same goal, the same vision where we want, you know, Kalamazoo to be thriving.
Yeah.
And it's just the difference is, how do we go about that?
Yeah.
Is it out of school time? Is it scholarships? Is it basic needs? Like what have you? And the goal is to like bring them all together, or at least work together.
Yeah.
Where if I have a student who needs housing assistance or something like that, I can send them to someone that can help them with that.
Absolutely.
So enough about work for a second.
Yeah.
What's your story and who are you? So you can go back as far as you want, share as much as you want. Some people skip over like middle school, or, you know, like whatever you feel like sharing. Yeah. It's open to you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So who am I and what's my story? Let's see. So I'm originally from South Haven, Michigan, born and raised there. I'm the youngest of three, got an older brother and sister. Who's a little bit older than me. I'm quite the baby at 9 years younger than my oldest brother. So was raised there, and great family, man. Had a pretty good childhood coming up, and, you know, life happened. Got older, ended up in Kalamazoo by way of work. That after I went to school and got my degree in Associates of Applied Science and X-ray Technology, that brought me to Kalamazoo. X-ray. I really had no other choice. You know what I mean? It was meant to be from the get-go. So ended up here in Kalamazoo and ultimately ended up at Bronson. And I was working there full time. I've had a great career in healthcare and did really well. And I got married 4 years ago, living at home, married life. Life is good. Things are going well. And I just, as somebody you kind of alluded to earlier, somebody who's always seeking to serve and help, I had found pockets of ways to serve and kind of be in the community, do things just on my own. But as I was really getting into my career and just going to work every day, I just felt like there was supposed to be more. There's supposed to be more of me giving back, and I really was trying to figure out, like, how can I get more involved in the community around me? Like, I really wanted to give back to this community, be involved, get to know the people around me, and minister to those around me. And so that's ultimately what led me to Youth for Christ. Was I had a buddy who gave me a friend's number, and going to church, I saw a bulletin that highlighted when the City Life Center first opened up. Went and checked it out, man, and it was awesome. And went in there was a bunch of kids running around, going wild, going crazy. And I was like, yeah, this is my calling right here, man. Got to hoop with some kids, and, you know, I got some buckets on them, John.
I believe it.
Yeah, I got some buckets, bro.
I've seen it. I've been the victim of it. Not too many times.
Yeah, not too many. Nah,
not
no.
too much.
But yeah, man. And so that led me to go part-time at the hospital, and then I actually came on staff at YFC part-time. Faith is a big part of my life, if you guys haven't already got that by listening. And so I just seek to really live out the faith that I believe in, and that's part of why I do what I do as well. So that's it in a nutshell, man. There's a lot more to that story.
Yeah.
But if you want to know more, come see me sometime.
Okay.
But you know.
I know.
Because we lived together.
Yeah.
'Cause we lived together for a while. Yeah.
Yep. That was back when I was in college.
Yeah.
During, what do you call it? During my formative years.
Yeah, man. It was a great time together.
Because we were going to a Bible study that was at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were joking about if somebody needed a place to stay or a roommate or something. And I was like, Are you serious? Because I need to move out, but I don't necessarily know where to go or whatever. So like I had asked you, and you were like, "Yeah, I mean, of course." You know, I was like, "Okay,
yep,
all right, here we go, cool."
Yep. One thing led to another, and it was good, man.
Yeah, so that was it was good times. You had some tough conversations with me. Like, John, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, oh, I know, I get it.
That's what love is, man.
Yeah,
you know, looking out for each other.
Mm-hmm. But I appreciate you. That's why I was like, they need to hear from Ray.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right. So what would you say? Now you already answered this kind of, but what motivated you? If there was a specific thing, or a person, or a moment, or your faith, values, what have you, that you didn't already say, is that helps you get to where you are now? What would it be?
Yeah, at the top of that list definitely is my faith. That's the driving force behind everything that I do. Trying to live a worthy life worthy of the faith that I believe in for people, and just to really serve and give. But more than that, seeing people in need is something that really kind of breaks my heart. And so initially, before I started at the place that I'm at now, the Youth for Christ here in Kalamazoo, I was just going hitting the streets, man, and I was giving like homeless people food and praying with them and just talking to them and trying to hear their story, and just seeing people broken and hurting, and not that I still don't care for them, but when I got to YFC, I saw a different need. You know, and I really enjoy kids. I like hanging out with them. I feel like I connect well with them. And when I was there, like I said, I felt like that was more my calling. And once I really got to know these kids and see their stories and see their backgrounds, because like I said, I had a pretty good upbringing. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means. My family, got issues like most families. But, man, I mean, these kids out here really have it bad. There's some hard things going on out here. And so when I got into that spot and I got to hear and see and be part of those stories, man, I was like, yeah, I got to do more, and so that's what drove me into like, okay, you know what, let me make some time for this, and let me commit to being here and see what kind of a change I can make, because I do believe Kalamazoo is a beautiful place. I do believe that that's the next generation. I believe that raising them up and equipping them to be successful will help all of us. Yeah,
no, I just Kalamazoo Youth for Christ, like you guys, Phil, he just brought a student up here.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see if he's eligible still for the promise.
Yeah.
And even if he's not, what is it that we can get him into so that he can, get to where he wants to be at?
Yeah.
If he's not eligible for the promise, then okay, let's connect him to the foundation, to like other scholarships, whatever it is. And then some of the trainings that like we connect students to, those anybody could do. So like that, we're just, even though it's not us, we still want students to be successful,
right?
Find their calling, what have you, whatever you want to call it, and get them connected to that. I mean, even though it doesn't help like our numbers of students we got, enrolled or whatever, it's still the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that's where we fall short, right? Is when we work for corporations, businesses, other entities. It is, I mean, you have to do the paperwork because the people funding these things want to see the results, and we have to be able to track it. But sometimes that can lead us to be hampered because then we're looking at these things as numbers and not individuals. And so remembering what you just said, like, these are people who need help. These are kids who need help. They're not just a number. That's when systems start to fail. So that's beautiful, man. That I appreciate you guys for doing that, and even having that mindset of like, okay, well, we'll make the shift. And maybe that doesn't go on our tally mark, but it's still helping for the bigger cause. And that's what matters. And like you said earlier, like the partnership here in Kalamazoo is amazing. You know, how do we figure out how to collab together? That's the important thing.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like KVCC, they have, like, we were at an event together. It was I can't remember his name right now. Kevin Lavender.
Oh yeah,
He was up there and he's talking about, you know, the free programs that KVCC has.
Yeah.
And then I speak right after him. You guys can go to school for free anywhere. Like, but like, there's still stuff here where it's like you could use this program, even if you can't use the promise. You could still use this. And there's also an effort that like we have to take on where we know the things that are available too.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's like getting those kids just to see that and to dream, because of where they're coming from, their circumstances, they have nobody else that's like, hey, do you know that this program is out here? Hey, you can go there and get help. Oh, that didn't work out. Let me connect you with this person. And so us stepping in and being that person, man, is huge. Because then these kids see there's options. That it's not just like, I got to go work at Harding's bagging groceries. And nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying if we get these kids to dream about something bigger and reach their potential and know that they have potential, man, the sky's the limit. You know, so that's what really it is. A lot of that's what we do down at Youth for Christ, and that's what I'm preaching to them. Like, man, dream, just dream. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want your life to look like? If you could do anything, you know, and get them to thinking that way. And so, like you said, taking them from that, hey, this didn't work out, but we're gonna go here, gives them that light bulb. Like, yep, okay, I got options. You know,
because a lot of the youth, not a lot, but like, you know, youth in Kalamazoo, they don't necessarily have that support network. There's a lot of, like, we were just talking about this on the last podcast, but there's something missing where students don't necessarily know what they want to do, what the next thing is, and you kind of scramble when you're finishing high school. And it's like, all right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the easiest thing that sometimes students see is like, you know, people playing games, you know, streaming and whatnot, football players, NBA, you know, those different things. But then nobody's having those tough conversations where it's like, well, that is a, you know, very lucrative thing, but only this many people are actually able to do it.
Exactly.
And the odds of you being able to do it are very low. Which I wish you could do it, but let's come up with a backup plan. If you love football, you love sports, what's, you know, a degree that you could get in that where you can work around those people or, you know, be in those situations so you don't necessarily have to give it up, but let's find the avenue that it is for you to get there.
I just had the conversation with the kids last night at the center, that very thing. And I told them, even if you make it, even if you do, your average career is only going to be like 3 to 5 years. So at that point, you're still going to be late 20s, early 30s maybe. What are you going to do the rest of your life? You still have to have another plan, unless you were amazing with investments and that. But coming from your background, you're probably not going to be. So even thinking about that, like, you can still make it and still need to figure out what to do for the next 40 years after that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, literally just had that exact conversation last night at the center with the kids.
There's so many pieces that go into it, too. Like the networking, having connections, being in the places to be seen, to do that. And just, I was looking at a breakdown of it. It's like a less than 1% chance for you to be successful doing it for a couple of years, like you were saying. So it's a tough conversation for like kids to hear, but like if that's the thing you keep seeing, like that's the way I could be successful. I can see myself in that. But then when you see people like you in different roles like doctors, nurses, lawyers, all that, then it's like, oh, okay, there's somebody that looks like me in that space. I could actually do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And somebody that cares about me enough to show me the way.
Yes.
Which is another tough part.
Yes.
But anyway, sorry, we went off on a tangent with that one. What would it be if you could do anything to transform the Kalamazoo community?
Whoa, man.
Big question.
That's big. You are big in the community, bro. You ain't messing around. Okay, let's get to it.
Big ideas.
Yeah, man. Gosh, that's huge. You know, from the position that I'm in and where I'm at and the things that I see students facing right now, I would elect to have crisis housing set up for students in need, where there were people compassionate there to serve these kids and minister to them and let them know it's going to be okay, and food set up for them to go. And those things are in place. There are some other organizations and food banks and things like that, but at times we see still that you have to jump through hoops to be able to get that, and the parents sign off and other things that have to happen that don't always happen in the timely fashion necessary to really help this kid know, like, okay, it's going to be okay, you know. And for people, donors, to really put their money up, man, to help, you know, I mean, and more than money, their time to get out here. Like you said, a key thing for kids to see somebody who looks like them and to be able to show them the way to let them know that they care. Because a lot of people actually are cool with just, hey, let me write you a check. That's a great foundation. They feel good about it. But then when we ask them, hey, do you got an hour that you can come down here and hang out and talk to these kids and show them the path? Well, I'm pretty busy.
Yeah.
So sometimes that time investment is more than that dollar investment, because we need people who look like them to step up and show them I'm here and I care. So I don't know how that answers your question, but
no, it does. It's for people to, you answered it. And there was I was listening to a podcast. Funny, like we're on a podcast, but I was listening to a podcast there, a clip from one.
Yeah.
And it said growing up in a 2-parent household is a cheat code. And that really hit me, because I was like, like it is, because you get all these, that's your initial connection to whatever it is you're trying to be. It's your first role model, and then when that stuff gets disrupted, you're in limbo. Like, I was trying to be like him, but they got divorced, or, you know, this mess happened, and now I'm not trying to be like that.
Yep.
And there's so many students who end up in that situation where it's like, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? And I know I'm repeating some of the same stuff from the last podcast, but it's like it recurs in so many different ways. Yeah, it's
a cycle, man. I mean, you probably repeating it because that's the big thing in front of us, and that's the challenge that happens. So you can't just, like, you know, there's not another topic to go on to really, because this one needs to be addressed. And that 2-parent household, man, I mean, that the statistics from 2-parent household to single household is just crazy. You know what I mean? When the father's in the picture versus not, is crazy. And when we're sitting back and we know and look at our community and see the issues with gun violence and murder and suicide and these things, man, a lot of that stuff, like you said, that's the cheat code. 2-parent household, like, we need parent education. Maybe that's the bigger thing, is parent education and good families here to create that structure. And how do we help that, so then that way it just doesn't continue the cycle, you know?
Yeah, because that's some of the stuff we talked about, like doing two gen approaches, or 2-generation approaches. So like if you get your kid into daycare or like some sort of early education thing, then what's the parent doing with that time? Are they going to skill up in their own way? Get some education. That's one of the things that we've talked about. Don't know if it's the solution. It's difficult, because you got to get people to buy into that.
Yes.
They have to have the time. They have to have the resources, because if I'm taking time out of my day to go to this thing, then I'm not going to work.
Right.
You know, and that's, or I'm sacrificing time after work, out of school time, you know, like it's so much, it makes the difficulty that it puts on a person to go from this situation where I wasn't able to go the traditional route.
Yeah.
Where I graduated high school, went straight to college, and then got my degree, started working.
Right.
And there's so many people who, after that, they don't go to college. They're trying to figure it out, realize it's not enough. And then it's like, well, you need to do this. Well, I got a kid now.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Now it's
I'm trying to, have a roommate while going to school and figure it out while I have my son here too.
Right.
And unless you have those supports where somebody is willing to do that, someone else is willing to sacrifice, serve, that then you can't get over that hump and get past that. So,
Yep, I can't agree more.
Anyway, all right, past that question. What are your favorite things about Kalamazoo?
Oh, man. Some of my favorite things about Kalamazoo are the food is a top one. I like how eclectic it is in diversity and population in places, all at the same time of being a smaller city. It has, coming from South Haven, South Haven is very small. A lot of people hear South Haven and they equate it to the beaches and water, and it's beautiful and it's fun and all that stuff. But you're there in the summertime. If they're year round, it's not as fun in the wintertime, let me tell you. And when you grow up there and you see the same people and the same things, it's not as fun. I love South Haven. It's beautiful as a town. But when I moved to Kalamazoo, I was thankful that it wasn't overwhelmingly big, like let's say a Detroit or downtown Grand Rapids or like a huge metropolitan city. It's manageable, but it still has enough diversity to be able to do things. I can go hear somebody speak some spoken word. I can go get some authentic tacos, and I can go to art studio if I wanted, and then go out and hear some hip hop or what, you know what I mean? Like it is very diverse city without being overwhelmingly big, and I did also love how people like really genuinely care for the community. Like people love Kalamazoo. I mean, that's, what we talked about earlier. And it's probably some of my top things. I love going to the farmer's market and festivals that go on, those kinds of things. And that's what's enjoyable to me, And if I want to get from one side of Kalamazoo to other before all the cones went up and the lanes started getting small and the bike started riding, it won't take me too long. It doesn't take me too much longer now. But
what bikes?
No,
I ain't see no bikes. What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
City of Kalamazoo catching strays out here.
But I would still say that traffic, that's a minor inconvenience. So it takes me 10 minutes to get to work, no matter what job I'm going to. So. Yeah. Just the big city feel diversity inside of a smaller city with caring people.
No, that's a good answer. And like even the jokes or whatever, like it's still where it's all these things that like Kalamazoo's doing with the streets and whatever. Yeah, that's already in Grand Rapids. Right. That's already in other cities. Yeah. It's just now we're doing it and we gotta get used to it. Yep. It's like, what?
Yeah. Change is hard.
There's so much traffic in these two lanes and I gotta go around to the side.
Is that a parking spot or just a stop car? I don't know what's going on over here.
For real. It's so, oh my goodness. We just gotta get used to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's okay.
We're stubborn.
Yeah. Get you an e-bike.
I mean, I think we need to invest in some bikes.
Yeah, agreed.
I think some scooters. Yep. I used to know my wife Alon. She would always say like if she did college over again, she would get a scooter. Because every single building had those little bike things in front of it, and so you could get to class in like 2 seconds. Park your little scooter.
Yep.
And yeah,
smart. Yeah.
That's what Kalamazoo's trying to do. Trying to get to work, trying to get to my apartment, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, if this is another big question, sorry.
No, it's big in the community, bro.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If the Kalamazoo Promise was available to you, how would it have changed things for you?
Man. I've often thought about this because preaching to these kids and trying to get them to dream and be like, man, you got an awesome opportunity. I'm like, gosh, what would I do? I think about this all the time. And the crazy thing is, I might be in the same boat as one of those kids. I might take it for granted and be like, whatever, I'm done with school, I'm just going to go live my life and not realize the value in it. But if I was somebody who did realize the value, if I had the mindset that I had now, you know, and I graduated high school, man, I think it would change my life, you know. Not that I would want my life to be any different. I'm thankful for the life I lived, and I believe that it was for a reason, and that you go through the things that you do to make you who you are for reasons, right? But the ability to go to school and have it paid for, knowing that it was paid for, and that all I had to do was imagine whatever I wanted to do, and I could pursue it, free from the stress of trying to figure out how am I going to pay for this. You know, what kind of strain is that going to put on my family or all that? I always imagine that when I think of this question, that I would be so much further ahead in life, and I would be able to give back so much more, you know. I think that it would have had an amazing impact on my life, man. I'm jealous. I'm envious of these kids, and it's almost a point of frustration, because I'm like, dude, you don't know how amazingly blessed you are to live in a community like this that is giving this opportunity to you, and you're just wasting it. Like, when I remember when we had our meeting and you were telling us the numbers about how many kids actually use it, how many kids actually go on to graduate, and then, you know, post all those different statistics. And I was like, man, it's just sad. It's just sad. How do we get kids to transition their mindset to like seeing this as an opportunity of a lifetime, you know? But yeah, it's the Kalamazoo Promise is an amazing blessing in this community, and we need kids to understand and take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah, I think I want to say the narrative is changing, where it's K through 12. It's like, hey, this is coming.
Yeah.
And you need to be ready for it. Where before it was kind of like, what? I got the promise. Yeah. Okay, let me figure out what I want to do. Because for a lot of kids, when it was first announced, it was like, well, I wasn't planning on going to college because I didn't think I could afford it. And then it was like, oh, okay, I can. What should I do? But also for some students, that hasn't really changed. So for some, it's still, 18 years of, I don't see myself in that position. Yeah. I don't see myself going to college. I don't see myself, and they're not encouraged, not surrounded by people that would support them. And this isn't everybody, right? But, for those who don't, there's some reason or some mindset it's not for me. And so we're still trying to figure out, this is for you. It's for everyone, literally. Yep. Well, in Kalamazoo that goes to KPS, for everybody here.
Everybody who checks these boxes.
Yeah. But no, it is a blessing. It's crazy. And I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for it. And just telling other students about that, like, hey, like, I was able to do it. I'm not the smartest person. I might think I'm smart, but there are lots of people who maybe deserve it more than I do, but the opportunity is mine, and I should, act on it. Yep. Okay. It's getting deep. All right. No, this one's not too bad. It's still deep, but not too bad. What is a gold nugget of information you would share with someone who'd like to do the same work as you?
Oh, man. That golden nugget. Yeah. If somebody wants to go into ministry, I would say do it and have no fear. Just go in and don't be scared. Kids can be intimidating. Ministry can be intimidating. And you may not know where you're headed or what you're getting into. And especially with working with kids, they're not the most positive feedback group of people that you're going to have. But I assure you, if you show up and do the work, that they will open up and you will get the reward of putting that time in. So I would say the gold nuggets is just do it. Just get out there and do it. Don't be scared. A lot of people think, and we hear this as we're trying to get volunteers to come to the center, and like, oh, I'm too old, or I have nothing to offer, or I'm not going to connect with these kids, or this and that. No, that's not true. Because I've seen some amazing relationships built between two completely opposite personalities, ages, ethnicities, but it was the person who just showed up consistently and said, I care. And that teen was like, yep, they do care. Yep, I'm going to talk to them. So don't sell yourself short.
It's all about connections.
Yeah.
We're all connected in some sort of way. It's just you have to be willing to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
You might have the same favorite basketball team.
Right.
Might have went to the same school or whatever it is. It's just that we're so different. I can't.
Yep.
We're similar in more ways than we think.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
What is your favorite part about what you do in the community?
It's tough. So either I really enjoy these conversations.
Yeah.
But I enjoy more when the conversations turn into something. So like, when a student comes in and we're able to help them, and then so for example, there was a student interview. We helped him do interview prep for the job that he's trying to go to. And then we randomly saw him at Males of Promise, the event that we had here. And he was like, hey, how's it going? And he got the job,
wow.
So like, it's those little moments where it's like, it does matter. What
yeah.
I do.
Yeah, man.
Stuff like that, the moments like that, just seeing like the direct impact of what we do.
Yep.
Cause I think there's times where like, we'll just be talking, like we'll be in meetings with a bunch of people and we'll just be talking.
Yeah.
And nothing really gets done. And like, we'll have conversations about that. It's like, we'll take months to like start up this new initiative or this new thing when there's immediate needs that are not getting met right now.
Yep.
And like, I understand like it takes a lot to get people to come together and to make things happen, but it just takes so long.
Yeah.
And so when those moments happen where I see the direct effect of what we did, then it's like, okay, cool.
It was all worth it.
I'll see somebody who hit me up about like, hey, I'm trying to use my promise, and then like skip ahead like 2-3 years, and then they got their degree, stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
That's where I'm like, okay, that matters. It's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah,
and that gets me through the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I can relate to that. Yeah, seeing those. The time that you put in pay out and getting that benefit of it, man, there's nothing sweeter than seeing them kids, man, on that road to success. So yeah. Any
other questions?
No, man, that's it.
All right. I was scared. I thought you were gonna come in here with some tough ones.
No, I'll let you do all the questioning.
All right. How could someone get involved in the work that you're doing?
Well, with specifically Youth for Christ, you can go again to KalamazooYFC.org and get on there. There's a whole webpage dedicated to who we are, what we're about, what our mission is about, where we're located. We have 2 different social enterprises, one being Taste of Heaven that has deliciously sweet popcorn and treats. If you don't know about it, you better find out. And then the other is the New Way Thrift Store, where we have gently used merchandise. So if you're looking for that next present for your loved one, Mother's Day is coming up. Go ahead and this might air after that. I don't know,
right.
But
need some endorsements.
Yeah,
for this guy.
go check it out though. Go check it out. They have everything that you need, from a flat screen TV to a new baseball bat. But no, get on KalamazooYFC.org. Check it out. We can always use volunteers. Always use volunteers. We also we host once a month down at the East Main City Life Center. We do a See the Story event, and online will be the dates there. You can sign up, register. It's a free 1-hour event from 12 to 1:15 to come in, hear about the mission of YFC, the history of it, see what what we do and how you can get plugged in there as well. So we would love to have more people. And the kids would love to have more people to interact with too. I think they're getting tired of me.
Hey, yeah. It's probably because you keep scoring. That's probably why. I'd be mad too. Can't you get some other people in here to play with us? No. Anything else?
Nah, man. I think that about wraps it up. Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can reach out to me directly, ray@kalamazooyfce.org. Or yeah, if talk more about that, man. I love to sit down with people and talk to them about getting involved in the community, get involved at Youth for Christ, or if you guys have kids that want to be X-ray techs, holler at me. That I'll talk about my career path and that too. Whatever we want to do.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story. People need to hear it. Just thank you for everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys as well.
Thanks for coming out.